One of the most asked questions that I'm getting right now is, what is the best gear? What is the best skills? What is she like really good for? Is she really good for PvP? Can I build her in PvE? Well, in this video, you guys are gonna know exactly the answers for those questions. Now, I want to start off by talking about what gear you guys should be going for, because that is probably the most important thing and the first thing you should probably know now. That way you guys can open your selector boxes feeling more like you guys are doing the right thing and not being afraid that it's gonna be something wrong. Now, the first thing that I'm going to talk about in this video is what gear you should be aiming for. And honestly, there's actually a few gear sets that I believe are the ones that you should be looking out for. There's no really one, but if I had to choose what would be the best one, I would be leaning more towards Eyes of Osiris. And I know that is a special gear, and mainly whales are the only ones that are going to be getting that, but that is the answer to the question of what is the best gear for her. It would be obviously a special gear. Now, regional wise, there's actually two that come up. The first one being Sakar and the second one being Dark Domain. Now, as you guys can see here, I went with the Dark Domain for a couple reasons. Now, I am not a whale and I am not free to play, but I do have a lot of Dark Domain gear. My Iron Man has a full Dark Domain set. My Captain America has a full Dark Domain set. And I had a full set of selectors. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to go for Dark Domain for a couple reasons. One, obviously, being that I have a lot of Dark Domain gear. The second being that it's actually a pretty reasonable gear set for Scarlet Witch. If we go in here and we look at what the bonus stats that you get, so with the 2 set you get the attack buff, with the 3 set you get the defense pierce, but with the 4 set you get the witchcraft class skill level 5. Now I'm thinking ahead here. Now I have a whole bunch of Dark Domain gear that I am gonna be switching to Scarlet once the transmutation is up and I'm able to transmute. So once that, I'm able to nanofuse a lot of her gear. Now let's go into the skills to kind of further explain why I am going with Dark Domain. And as you guys can see here are the skills that get that buff. Now these are some of my favorite skills from Scarlet Witch. As you can see here, I have a whole way of how I'm applying this, starting off with this one right here. This right here is the Witch's Darkness, the Witch's Descent. It's a witchcraft class skill. And this right here is going to save you a lot of near-death experiences, okay? This is going to save you a lot because as you can see, you pretty much just teleport through them. And as you teleport through them, you're leaving these little balls that come and hit them. And you know what else? It decreases their defense, and then thus dealing more damage and max double guard damage if energy hits the same target. Also, this skill is untargetable while you're using this. You can't be targeted while using this. This right here has saved me plenty of times, and that is why this is my go-to to start things off. Then I like to follow that with the Shape of Terror. Now what this does is it creates an illusion of yourself to attack the enemies. Now the illusion assists the caster in combat for a set duration. Now this is good because now you are able to quickly just move around. Now you have 2 attacking the same target, and honestly I love this one. I love using this one because your little double starts doing work, and it applies 22% of Scarlet Witch's attack. Now, of course, the higher your attack, the more damage your double is going to be doing. Now, for my third skill, I follow that with a Language of Demise. Now, this creates a giant runic behind her back to deal 327% damage. Obviously, this increases as I level this skill up. Now, this does damage to enemies nearby and absorbs their life to turn them unstable. So when the skill lands, this decreases their attack by 25% for 6 seconds when cursed targets use attack skills. This also deals damage equal to 14.55% of attack when cursed targets use attack skills. And trust me, there's a lot more. This right here also inflicts Curse of Weakness for 5 seconds when the skill lands. So what that means is unable to dodge for 3.5 seconds when cursed targets use dodge skills. So they won't be able to dodge for 3.5 seconds if the skill lands. This also deals damage equal to 14.55% of attack when cursed targets use dodge skills. Now this also absorbs 15% of damage dealt as HP. That's why I went with this one, because this one also saves you. This one also keeps you kind of pushing. Just when you think it's over, you got that extra little health, and sometimes that right there is the make it or break it moment. Now for my fourth skill, I went with the Witch Tongue, the Death Chain, which is another witchcraft class skill, and this teleports behind the enemy and releases energy to deal 165% damage, and it causes confusion. The released energy transfers successfully to nearby enemies to spread damage. After looking at all her skills, this is what I decided to go for. Now for my last skill, I'm going for the Chaos Magic, the Chaos Judgment. Now I went with this one because of the cooldown. It's only 8.5 seconds. It doesn't require that many stamina. And when it lands on targets, it does damage for 5 seconds when the skill lands. So it does damage relative to 30% of attack per second. So for 5 seconds, they're constantly getting attacked. And while that is happening, you're able to use up other skills, and it's adding towards the damage that they're receiving. Now, there's also, it does more. Now, instability when the skill lands. This increases stamina consumption by 30% when using a skill. So when this lands, if they try to use a skill, their skills now require more stamina consumption every time they use a skill. But wait, there's more. Consumes additional dodge gauge by 30% when using dodge skill. So that means that if they try to, so they're already using more stamina when they are affected by this. Now, if they try to dodge, they use up more of their dodge gauge, up to 30% more of their dodge gauge every time they try to dodge away. If you land this, either whatever they do, you got them in the palm of your hands. Even though it might not do that much damage, the low cooldown and the low stamina makes up for it. Now, as you can see, I have a mixture of chaos and witchcraft. Now, the reason I have a mixture of chaos and witchcraft is because I want to apply a lot of status effects, but also be able to use skills that do some damage. So the chaos are the ones that use up the status effects. If it lands, when I use my witchcraft skills, it will do more damage. Now, if we go down to the specializations, I'm going to show you which ones I kind of went for in the beginning. And these are the ones that I'm going to push through. And I felt like this was right here, the bread and butter to my build. Now, the first one I went for was the increased status effect accuracy rate by 12.5%. Obviously, this increases the higher you level up. So not only does this increase the status effect accuracy rate, but it also increases the accuracy rate by the same percentage when battle lasts for 6 seconds. So if the battle lasts for 6 seconds, you get this buff added. So your status effect accuracy rate increases, and then your accuracy rate increases as well, as long as you don't get quickly killed in the beginning of the match. If you can survive for 6 seconds, you will get this buff. So this was the first specialization I went for. Now, the second one that I went for was the Hex Magic, the Hex Domination. Now, this right here increases damage dealt to immobile targets or target with status effects by 18 or 21%. So if you are affected by anybody's status effect, if you have a status effect already affecting you, I am going to do more damage to you, either if you're immobile or if there's a status effect applied. And right now I will do 18% more damage, and this is at level 6. And when I go to level 7, it's showing me it's going to go up to 21%. So we're looking at probably 30% once I'm at level 10, a 30% increase, damage increase, if they are hit with the status effect. That's why I have chaos skills in my build. Now, the third one that I went with is another Hex Magic, the Energy Equivalent Exchange. Now, this increases all skill damage dealt to enemies by 24 to 27%. This is at 8, and when it goes to 10, it would increase, I'm guessing, to 30%. So if you think about it, if I have this on and I hit you and you have a status effect and I have this maxed out, that's 30% plus another 30% of damage. Oh man, I'm gonna be doing some work. That's a lot of damage right there. Now the only downside is that this right here, it increases, but it decreases the required stamina your skills use by the same percentage that it increases it by. So what's gonna happen here is you wanna make sure that your stamina recovery is pretty good. And if you are lacking stamina recovery, you might wanna hold off on this one. But lucky for me, on my boots, I rolled a good amount of stamina recovery and it's not affecting me as of now. But if it starts affecting me where I'm not able to get enough stamina recovery fast enough for me to use a skill, I will put this to the side until I am ready to add this back on. Now for my last specialization that I have here is the witchcraft dodge. Okay, now this right here is, at first I kind of wasn't really thinking too much of it, but then I started really reading this and then it actually started to make a lot of sense. So what this does is it increases your movement speed by 17.5. I am currently at level 7. Obviously it's probably going to go up to maybe 20% once it's at level 10. Now it increases it for 2 seconds when using a dodge skill, and when the movement speed increases effect ends, it decreases the cooldown of all your skills by 1.75. Also, this increases once you go high. So maybe we're looking at by 2.0 seconds. There it is. So, and there's a cooldown of 20 seconds, but this right here already can see is a lifesaver, and you'll be able to run away quick and your skills will cool down faster. So once I saw this, I was like, this is a must have for me. I have to put it. And so far I've been loving it. I've been noticing that I do get to run away quicker at times. And then the skills, when I need it the most, they go down fast enough where I'm able to use them. And it's another one of the specializations that I'm like, man, I'm glad that I invested in this one. Now, Scarlet Witch has a lot of other good ones. That's why I feel like she is going to be the first hero where I'm going to actually make multiple build videos on her, because this right here is guided more towards Omega War, PvP, that type of stuff. And if I was gonna build for PvE, I would probably add this one because this increases damage dealt to super villains. And then if we go down here, we have another one that's pretty good. Now I think this one will be really good in Omega War or Alliance Omega War, because this right here fires magic that spreads to 5 enemies and deals damage equal to 13.5%, which is at 0. Obviously this is going to increase once you get to level 10 of attack, and inflicts silence for 2 seconds when using a witchcraft class skill. And me being Dark Domain, which witchcraft is that special bonus, this right here would be a good one for me to invest in, and I will let you guys know what I find out when it comes to this one. Now we have another one here called the Reality Break. Now this becomes immune to status effects for 3.5 seconds. As always, we are level 1. This will increase as I go up to like level 10. This will be a lot higher. Now this applies when using a witchcraft class skill. Once again, I am using a Dark Domain, so this right here would be one that I should be adding to the lists of ones that I need to try, and I'll let you guys know. As you guys can see, I've already been aiming for it. We also have the Chaos Control, the Critical Chaos. This critical hit applied to all skills for 2.5 seconds after 3 max damage hits. It's at 0, so this will increase. We're probably looking at maybe 10. It probably will go up to 10 seconds with the 20. And over here we have the Chaos Tear, increases max damage rate by 6.75% for 5 seconds when using a Chaos class skill. Now, if you have a pretty good amount of increased max damage rate, and this will make it to where it's like pushing you over that bar where it starts really improving your build, then yes, aim for this one. We have the Chaos Confusion up here, hiding over here on the side. Now when attacked while HP is 50% or lower, it creates a magic explosion that deals damage equal to a percentage of attack and inflicts confusion on attack targets for 3 seconds. Now this one is another top tier active trait to kind of look for, but I decided to go with these top ones because this right here was, after going through all of these, I felt like the mixture of these was just perfect for my build, because I wanted to be able to apply a lot of status effect and then be able to use my witchcraft skills to really add in that damage. And boy, do I definitely notice a difference. Now, going back to the gear, what other gear set should you be going for? Now, if you are a whale, I'm not going to lie, the Eyes of Osiris looks very, very, very good. And if I was a whale, I would be aiming for Eyes of Osiris. You get the 2 set of attack, but down here you get the 3 set chaos magic skill level +2, and then another chaos class skill level +2. So as you can see, when you have him all to 6-star and you have the full set, it goes up to +7. So chaos magic skill and chaos magic class skill, if we go back to the class section, all these will get the bonus, all these will get the bonus, but this one will get the biggest bonus, because you're getting the this +7 for the chaos magic, and then another +7 for it being a chaos class. If I'm wrong about that, please put that in the comments down below. Trust me, I will not be offended. It's better to be corrected than to give out false information. But to the best of my knowledge and from what I've been talking to, from the people I've been talking to, that is kind of what it's showing us. Now, Dark Domain has the Defense Pierce as is number 2 as the 3 set bonus. The Midgardia, if you don't want the Defense Pierce, you just want to build for PvE, the Midgardia has critical damage as the 3 set. So if you don't want the Dark Domain because of the 3 set bonus and you rather have the critical damage, then go for Midgardia. Now, if you love the Hex Energy, the Exandrith is another one you might want to be looking at, because it gives you attack, critical damage, and then you have the Hex Energy class skill bonus. Now, one that a lot of people have been saying that they are going for is the Sakaar one. Now, with the Sakaar, you're getting attack, critical damage, and you get that Chaos class skill bonus. Now, this one you definitely want to go for if you are getting Defense Pierce from other areas. But if you are lacking in Defense Pierce, you might want to think about going for that Dark Domain. But if you already have Defense Pierce in Omega cards and you can sacrifice not having it on here, then the Sakaar would be the one to aim for. Now, if you like the attack and defense, but you didn't like the witchcraft as the 4 set, now the Hydra Empire replaces that 4 set witchcraft with the 4 set Hex Energy class skill. So if you want to have the attack with the defense, but at the end you are more of a fan of the Hex Energy class, then the Hydra is the one that I recommend you go for. But if you want to go for one that's top dog and you're a whale and you want to go for something good, this right here, Eyes of Osiris, is just, and it gives you the 2 set of attack, then it follows it with the 3 set chaos magic, and then you get the bonus on the chaos class skill. So the chaos class skill is for all the skills that fall under the chaos class. Now, in one of those is the chaos magic skill, so you're getting a buff of like what, 14, because it adds it together, making the Eyes of Osiris pretty incredible. Now, you want to make sure you're getting your Defense Pierce, because if you're building for PvP, you want to make sure Defense Pierce, because Defense Pierce is, you know, it's an important stat to make sure that you have for PvP. Not so important for PvE, but it's important for PvP. Now, the reason why I didn't go over the non-regionals is because we are at a stage right now where regionals are now easy to get. And if you can't get your hands on regional, you're probably not trying hard enough, or you're not paying attention to these updates. You got to log in daily. But trust me, regionals are now easier to get. Now, I'm not saying they're giving us fodder like crazy. No, I'm just saying regionals are easier to get. Back then, I had to go non-regional because it was hard to get regionals. But now they made it to where they're giving us regionals more often. Now, for badges. I use my Invasion Magneto badges. As soon as I got to level 50, I was able to use it. I don't know what level 120 means, because I am not level 120 with my Scarlet Witch, but I'm able to use these badges. And honestly, I just kind of went with whatever I had. I just put it all in there, and it so far is doing good. But if once I start min-maxing, and min-maxing is when you start moving everything around to really trying to make sure that you increase certain areas here. Like let's just say I want to get my accuracy rate up and I move some and it will increase my accuracy rate, but then it decreases my dodge too much, so I have to remove everything, and it's like a puzzle to where you can get this up but it won't do that much damage to here because now you left that there and you move something else over here. And yeah, so that's what min-maxing is, and that's what a lot of the pro players, all the best players in the game do. And trust me, min-maxing takes a long time, and a lot of the best players in the game spend hours min-maxing a day. So for badges, you just want to make sure that you go for badges that will improve the areas that you're lacking. Like if I was lacking attack, then you want to make sure you get attack on these first top two badges. I don't care about the bonus stats it gives. I'm all about paying attention to the stats that it gives right here. So same thing with my gear. I'm looking at the stats, but I am so far having a blast building her, testing out all these skills. This is just a beginner's guide to kind of get you guys on the right track. Now for companions, when it comes to companions, you just go with whatever you got. I am not a whale, so I go with the best that I have. As you can see here, I put my top companions in there. These give me more of a buff than these guys down here. As you can see, that's why I have him on there. And obviously the Hulk is there because the Hulk is overpowered. But once I do like Omega War or stuff like that, I think Ultron will probably be the one that I would try to push and add and replace the Hulk with. So when it comes to companions, just whatever you have, you got to roll with it. If you're a whale, then you are able to cherry pick and it's different. But to be honest, Wong would be one that I would definitely want to go for because of the bonus effects that it gives you. So Wong would be one of the top ones that I would go for. But in general, just go with what the best that you just have, because most of us, we're not whaling out on these companions. Only, the whales are. But most of us are watching this, we're not whaling out on companions. Come on. Just put whatever you got and you'll be fine. Now for my Omega cards, I kind of went with the same thing. I just kind of I moved stuff that I had over here. I had this box that was a special card box, and it was a random special card, and I ended up getting this guy. So I'm just rolling with it, and I'm just basically just putting the best cards that I have with Scarlet Witch to use. I'm looking at attack, super villain. I'm doing PvE right now, so I'm using the cards that have super villain. But the exclusive stat is giving me cooldown decrease, so that's going to be helpful. Now on this one, Angela, Queen of Hell, gives me critical damage, and then another supervillain damage, which we're doing PvE, so that's good. And then the exclusive stat is total damage. So as you can see, I'm just kind of rolling with the punches here. So what you guys want to do is you guys want to make sure that you guys are just using the cards. And if you're in PvE, there should be no reason why you have PvP cards on here. For example, right here, these are my PvP cards. There's no reason why I should have these on here because it just wouldn't make sense for PvE. So for PvE, I have cards that will help me in PvE. Now, if you're lacking in Defense Pierce, then I will be looking at Defense Pierce as the bonus stat. So any card that has Defense Pierce, I'm going to add it to make sure that I have a good amount of Defense Pierce for when I do like PvP, because Defense Pierce in PvE is not really worth it. It doesn't really do that much of a difference. That's why you don't really see it that much. But if it was for PvP, then yes, I would focus on Defense Pierce a lot more. And as you can see here, critical damage, and this one's not really that important for PvE, but the stamina recovery right here, it is. Because if you guys remember, this guy right here increases all skill damage dealt to enemies, but then it requires more stamina. So that is going to help me with this part right here. This is called min-maxing. So you got to kind of balance things out because of this, and because if I didn't have that Omega card, I might not be able to use this, and I might have to switch this one out for something else. And it's all about balancing. Never go for the red dot, and never only focus on attack, because that is just fake damage and you will get one-shotted, and you're gonna be like, why did I get one-shotted? I'm so sad. It's because you're stupid. And you're following the red dots, but like, you shouldn't be following the red dots. That's the best players in the game do not follow the red dot. They follow the min-maxing way, and they just balance it, and they spend hours and hours on just moving stuff around, trying to get that perfect balance in stats. and that's what it's all about. Now, the last but not least, you have your enhanced potentials. Obviously, you want to make sure that, you know, I went for attack, second one, attack, third one, I'm also going for attack. But then as you can see, cooldown decrease, I went for this before attack. Now right here, this one right here is, these two are ones that I'm going to be focusing on before I focus on attack. And then when I'm down here, we have accuracy rate, defense, and attack. And depending where I'm at with my stats, I will know if I should go for attack because I already have a good amount of accuracy, or if I don't have a good amount of accuracy, then I'm going to go for accuracy rate because I need more accuracy rate. Or if I'm lacking in defense, then I'm going for defense. So that's part of min-maxing right there. All right, guys, there you guys have it. This was a startup guide for building a good Scarlet Witch. Now, as I keep testing out more of these specializations and talking with my members of the alliance and talking with just other people in the community and building this amazing Scarlet Witch build that would be good for Omega War and PvP group events. And they built her for PvP, so I am going to be aiming for building her for group PvP. I don't believe she's going to be good in dark dimensional duel because she is more of a helper. Like you want somebody like Scarlet Witch in your group because of her status effects that she's going to be applying to the enemy. This is not a official the best build or, you know, anything like that. This is more like a starter guide. This is supposed to guide you guys towards the right direction. I let you guys know multiple different regional gears. I told you guys to not focus on non-regional because you can get regional now and you should be focusing on getting regional. I told you if you're going to go for the special, Eyes of Osiris would be the one that I would go for. If you're like a whale and you want to, you know, invest time in that, then Eyes of Osiris. We went over the Omega cards, how I would put mega cards in, and most importantly, just have fun. Just have fun building her, have fun just playing the game as Scarlet Witch, getting to learn her. This is just more of a guide to kind of help you through that journey because I am having a great time playing as Scarlet Witch. She is phenomenal. Her model is beautiful, and I cannot wait to see the builds that other content creators come up with. And trust me, I'm going to be coming up with some more builds once I fully have all the specializations unlocked and more testing gets involved. And it's just, I'm super excited to be able to keep making content for you guys. And you guys are clearly loving the content that I'm giving you guys, and I couldn't be happier. So I'm going to do my best to keep providing you guys content like this. So make sure you guys subscribe and hit that bell notification button, and I'll catch you guys next time.